your patience.
Absolutely.
I'm
Yeah, how are you doing today?
doing really well. I like your backdrop.
Yeah, this is my place here in Sebastopol.
Oh, cool. I like it there. I've been there.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, we've never met in person, but I feel like we
No,
we must have been in similar places because you've been to Bhakti Fest and stuff, right?
exactly. I think mostly I know of you through Chad because
Yeah, same here.
and also through Greg. Um, so yeah, but maybe we've even met each other at Bhakti Fest without knowing because I've been going there for a few years. So.
Yeah, were you scheduled to go to this last one that was canceled?
Not to Shakti as a performer, but I was considering going. But that's a big push for me to do twice a year. So usually I'll just like to do the fall
Yeah,
fall,
yeah.
fall journey.
Yeah, that makes sense. I
Yeah,
was working for it for a while, so I was like there in two capacities. So,
yeah, it's gonna
yeah.
be interesting to see how all of the festivals kind of merge and transform, and where's everything going from here.
Yeah. It's funny, I was actually contacted by this festival in Russia yesterday, and he was talking to me about it, and he was like, and we have this many people per workshop and whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, so you're doing it online this year because of the virus. He's like, no, we always do it online. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
really?
There's something about it. You don't have to get in your car. You don't have to drive anywhere. You're hanging out in your space, and I've actually had some really nice Zoom experiences through all of this, where I felt a lot of connection and love and ease because I didn't have to like make a huge journey out of it, and so
Yeah, or wear pants.
exactly. You just
Yeah.
throw on a shirt. Ah, totally.
Cool. So, how do you know Chad?
I know Chad just through music. Yeah, I played with him the first time maybe like 6 years ago up at the Jackson Well Springs, and I was playing percussion with him, and then from there just kind of on the circuit, and then he started coming to Sebastopol more, and I was hosting him here at my place. We have a spot called the Source Light Dome, so we do concerts here, and yeah, just same crowd, same community, and yeah,
Oh,
he's a real beautiful brother.
cool. Yeah, he actually did my first ever podcast. That was my first episode was with Chad.
Uh-huh. Very
Yeah.
cool.
So you like him, I'm imagining you have been touring quite a bit.
I've been touring a bit. It's not like my full-time thing. So, and I I kind of pick and choose, just regarding like what's in my means, because it's not like my full-time experience. But this year I was actually really, looking forward to kind of picking that up a little bit more, and then all of a sudden that changed. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Different plan.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Chad's always inspired me at his capacity to really just tour. You know, for me being a Taurus with 6 planets in Taurus, I'm like, that sounds good, and let's pick and choose where we want to go with things.
Um, my toddler's here, so I'm just muting.
Uh, all
I'm
good.
just trying doing my best. I'm trying the approach where I just continue the conversation as opposed
Sure.
to stopping. So have you been doing much like you've been doing some online concerts though, I saw, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do some online concerts. We're actually doing one tonight. We have a full moon celebration happening at 8 p.m. and I'll be playing with my
Oh, cool.
dear friends Sahar Pinkham and Diana Jeezy. So,
Oh, cool. Well, if you want, I can release the video of this tonight. I won't be able to edit the podcast that soon,
okay.
but yeah,
Uh-huh.
and that way we can do a little promo.
Cool. Wonderful.
Um, so So yeah, I mean, this is basically just a conversation. I mean, if there's anything that you specifically want to talk about, feel free to, mention it. But
Uh-huh.
I had this idea for the podcast being at Bhakti Fest and Satnam Fest, and just having
Uh-huh.
these great conversations with fellow musicians kind of
Yeah,
backstage. And I was going, it'd be really cool if people could hear these, because we
totally.
have great conversations.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful. I was just, flashing on that today. Just how much I love, having conversations that, are engaging with one another and specifically, around the topic of music and transformative music that really, I feel is so prevalent to our times, know. So that's really exciting.
So do you have a theme for tonight?
The theme for tonight, I've been tuning in um, kind of to this like very strong theme of compassion, of deep compassion for like how um, how everyone must be feeling, at this time, and specifically the feeling of confusion, that none of us really know what's going on. And there's a lot of information out in the world right now. And it's like we're all trying to find our way through that information to really feel into like what's true. And so I just feel a lot of compassion in that, both within myself and the greater expansiveness of the collective. And so yeah, that feels like a big one, and I want to touch that place, and also a dedication to all the people who are struggling and really suffering through this time, because I think it's easy to get caught up in the privileged experience of comfort and forget about the rest of the people who might be going through a lot of challenges in life. Yeah.
I will edit this out. I do have to just have him do something because he's
Sure.
talking over me. Hold on.
Totally get it.
Ramya, you need to hear, we need to come out here, okay? I don't have any more coconut. He was like involved in heavy duty Duplo playing before this, and I thought, okay, I'll
Uh-huh.
do that for a while, but no. Um,
I fully understand. My kids are now 17 and 20, uh,
oh, nice.
but I missed that time.
Yeah.
I don't miss the time of being like but I miss the just the vibrant constants of energy.
yeah. It's there's so much to love about it, and also like
Uh-huh.
that's why I've kind of enjoyed like every stage of their development, because I would not want this to last forever,
Totally.
but like yeah.
Yeah, it's true for sure.
Yeah. Well, no, I love what you were saying about the compassion. And I was actually having a conversation with my friend about this the other day, because she was like, my gosh, people are just like not even listening to each other. They're just like yelling stuff at each other and what's going on. And I was like, oh my God, I mean, they must be really afraid, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It's, you know, none of us really know what is real, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
So we have to take refuge in what we do know to be stable, which, in that I just always kind of revert back to simplicity, of the breath and of meditation and of practice and being simple, watering the plants, you know, waking up in the morning, you know, just being simple in life, and that's very comforting because we kind of take a break from the busyness of the mind and trying to figure everything out when really it's kind of impossible. Like we can't figure it all out, but we can, put our energy consciously into that feeling of our own joy and our own contentment in life, and that in itself, I do believe, has a very big result, for the greater whole.
sure, sure. And in your personal and our personal lives in any event, and
Yeah,
can't really control much else.
exactly. You know, so
That's cool. So y'all are
yeah.
doing that at 8 p.m. Pacific time,
Yep,
and
yep.
people can tune in how?
It's going to be Facebook Live, so it'll be through my page, Jen's Jarvie, and yeah, we'll just stream it, and
Cool,
it'll be fun.
cool.
We'll go for about 2 hours or so, and mostly focused on kind of the heart wide open vibe of just giving a full experience. So yeah,
So do you have your band members join you physically, or are they going to be like live streaming?
tonight we're doing physical.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
We haven't been doing that for the last month. Right when this first began, we did a couple live streams, and then, we kind of just let the energy dissipate and kind of went to our own things. And, I was doing a bit of just solo offerings. And then,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it just feels like it's ready to have a space with the three of us. And yeah, just,
I've been seeing some artists do these like um, I don't know, what would you call it? Like almost sessions where they're in three different spaces, or there's two of them, they're in two different spaces.
I've
And
seen that.
I mean, it's pretty impressive because I would have been nervous to do that if I hadn't seen it, given like delay.
Well, I don't think they're actually in the real time. I think people send the frame of the recording,
Uh-huh.
and then you receive that recording, and then you play to that. So then you have, um, you know,
Oh,
in sync
okay.
timing, and then it's got to be a pro because I've been seeing them as
I
well.
was I thought this was like an app that you could use. I don't know, I have to research it
I
maybe.
don't think there's something out. I don't think there is something yet that can take away the latency issue.
Okay.
So because I was like, how did they do that? And that's the best answer I came up with. It's got to be a recording, because then it's easy. Like you send me
Right.
a recording, and I play my part to it, and then you put the three together, and you have a great
Oh,
uh,
that makes sense.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's the way I think it's being done, and that's cool. It's really a nice way to still see everyone's energy. Um, but yeah, we're all close neighbors here, so
Yeah,
yeah.
that's cool. Sebastopol's a cute little community.
It is a great
Yeah.
community, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been super supportive, um, of my musical project over the last 5 years, and just been really consistent at offering, music to the community, the chanting and the kirtan, and it's been great. Just feel really loved and supported here.
Have you done this type of music for a long time, or is this something you started?
The kind of mantra fusion came about 5 years ago, and naturally, I was doing kind of singer-songwriter style since I was about 20 years old, and continued to write songs. I went to Naropa University in Boulder, Colorado, and studied for 3 years on a degree called Music as a Mode of Transformation, and bridged music psychology and religious studies. And naturally,
Cool.
It was really cool, super fun, and right up my alley. And I just thought I always knew that if I was to go to college, I just wanted to do something that was really inspiring to me, and that those elements alone, like the music, psychology, and religious studies, just kind of bridged everything that I felt really passionate about. And um, and then going to a place like Naropa, where you had an influence like Trungpa Rinpoche, that was so full on in his expression of bringing Tibetan Buddhism to the West. In this version of Crazy Wisdom, was like, yes, this is awesome.
I don't know anything about Naropa University, and it sounds like I want to. You want to tell us a
Yeah,
little bit about it?
yeah. So it was founded by Trungpa Rinpoche and Allen Ginsberg, and in the 70s, it was a very hip, happening place where people like Ram Dass and Trungpa and Allen Ginsberg and Jack Kerouac, um, lots of these wonderfully known counterculture humans came together in this kind of mesh pit of learning the depth of meditation practice. And yeah, he was just a masterful teacher in his delivery. And it was also, he really met the culture where it was at. And so it's a really inspiring story, and really interesting to check it out. So
Cool. I'm taking notes as you write this, so I'm muting so you don't hear my keystrokes. That sounds really cool. So you went there for 4 years, I'm assuming.
I went there for 3 years.
3 years. Okay.
Didn't fully finish the degree. I
Oh,
decided,
okay.
yeah, I was having kids at that same time.
Oh, wow. Well, that's
So
a feat.
I went out there with one child, and then we had another child upon arriving in Boulder. So it was like kind of a lot, raising two kids and going to college and providing for everyone. But the music continued to really pour through me, and at that point, I kind of merged into it was kind of the sound healing realm. So it was creating an experience called mindfulness, music, mindfulness, and meditation. Or something of that sort, which basically, allowed me to really offer kind of a deep sound journey, um, with lots of instruments, because I've always been kind of a multi-instrumentalist. So lots of instruments, lots of vocal sounding, because I always felt that the vocal, um, the human vocal was the most potent and profound instrument that exists ever throughout all time and space. And I just really love opening myself up in that way, especially in an improvised manner. Um, so yeah, with the study of the wisdom teachings, and just continuing to write, the wisdom teachings infused my songs, and then started to learn more about mantra, and then really opened up to it. I guess when I was about 33, and just realized, like, wait a second, all of the songs that I'm writing are so in tune with the meanings of these mantras. And wow, there's a whole practice here, called kirtan. And this is so exciting, because it just felt so at home in the world of kirtan and call and response chanting. So I came to it, via a very innocent place. It wasn't through necessarily a tradition or a culture. It was more just my own fascination with, when I sit down and start to play, mantras, and I do it for a period of time, I'm like, wow, I feel so open and expansive and
Hmm.
connected to God. And this is great. And I want to do this for other people. I want to bring people together in this vein, and like sing together and pray together. And it really was just a perfect opportunity to really bridge what I had always wanted, which was to share the depth of prayer through music in a social gathering that was really heartfelt and meaningful for people. And so I feel like, yeah, it was a coming home.
That's cool. As you mentioned the voice, I just noticed how all these birds are chirping behind you. It's really
Right?
sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have this beautiful forest. Right, we're on 10 acres, so there's a bunch of Douglas firs and these.
Oh
I
wow.
guess I think they're tanagers, and they just been singing, singing, singing away. So
So cool.
yeah, there's one. Uh,
What is your feeling personally? I know that there's no like correct answer to this and you can change your mind later, but do you feel a difference when you're repeating English words over and over again to say repeating, I don't know what, like do you pull from all traditions? Are you just doing like
I
Sanskrit?
No, mostly Sanskrit, mantras. But what I find is that when we're in the depth of a call and response chanting, and then and most of the people in the space are English speaking as their primary language. That when I drop a line in English, that then it just has so much power, right? Because now, we've been chanting this kind of foreign phrase, for example, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, which people are like, okay, this is fun. I'm going to give myself to it.
Mm-hmm.
We're removing obstacles. We're opening up to receive the wisdom of the divine. But then, you know, I'll drop like a line that says, I'm going to push on through. I'm going to open up the door. And we'll just sing that. Like, I'm going to push on through. I'm going to open up the door, to my heart and all of my love. And like, I find that the two just work really well together. Like, then people immediately are able to embody, like, oh, this is what this is. Like, I like this, I want to push on through. I want to open up the door. I want to be connected to my heart. I want to feel the vast, expansive expression of love in all of my being. um, so yeah, I find that it's like any practice, that it's up to us to do the practice, and the practice is only as powerful as we allow it to be. And if we're stuck in our critical mind or our judgmental mind, it's probably not going to be that powerful. You're probably going to be in more of a suffering state. But if you relax and open, things might emerge that reveal, wow, that was an amazing moment of just the truth of myself being revealed. And I tuned into all these emotions and this healing process, and it's like a real organic manifestation of the healing path, in the moment.
So do you feel like the combo is a winner? Because yeah, go ahead.
I personally love the combo. I love the combo, because it creates more accessibility. um, I've definitely gone through my own kind of inner evaluations of it all. And and through all of that, I've still come to the place that I deeply, deeply, deeply have such honor and respect for the traditions and the lineages from which these beautiful chants and mantras come forth, you know, and within me choosing to recite them and to be in presence with them, that in singing, the English phrasing for people who speak English, it only builds upon the power that already exists. So yeah, I think it's a great way to go.
Have you had experiences where you're chanting with people who are not native English speakers?
I have. I just actually got the opportunity to my friend Vish, who started the global festival for the pandemic, global festival of holy names, and he invited me to come and offer, some Maha Mantra, and it was really beautiful because in that live I was basically singing for what felt mostly like Indian people in the Vaishnava tradition. And I just I just felt received. I felt like, for me, when I show up to give myself to a chant, it's how I connect to my own devotion. And I feel like if I'm accessing my devotion, that's what's being felt. And so it's just always kind of really it's my invitation to myself just to be in my devotional heart. And what an amazing way to do that, but to chant, a beautiful mantra like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And I remember the first time I heard that chant, at the rainbow gatherings down in the Krishna camp, and it was so ecstatic and alive and celebratory of that very spirit that is the divine union of, you know, one and everything. And so I've always just felt super called to it, and deeply connected to the devotional heart within that.
Do you are you connected to any sort of spiritual tradition in particular? Or do you?
I No, I would say I'm not. I would say that I study and receive a lot of different things, from Tibetan Buddhism earlier on, teachers like Trungpa Rinpoche and Pema Chodron and Adyashanti and non-dual teachers, and but yeah, I don't. It's just never been a part of my path necessarily to like just give myself to one tradition or lineage.
I'm having a yeah. Here, can you hear? My son would like to hear.
Uh-huh.
No. I don't want to unplug that because I want to use my headphones. Okay. Oh, you don't like the headphone? Okay, I understand. I want to use the headphones because it helps me hear better. Do you want me to go get you a snack? Do you want a snack? Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to get me a snack.
Okay. Can you ask your brother to help you?
But I don't know what snack I want. I want to pick a snack.
How about this is great material. Okay, well, how about there's cheddar puffs, there's some chips, there's oranges, there's strawberries, there's goldfish.
Lots of options.
Just get me a snack.
Oh, I will be right back.
Okay.
Okay, Prembayan, I would really like for you to stay downstairs. Can you stay downstairs, please? Stay downstairs.
Okay.
And we're back.
Busy mama.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were they were homeschooled for 7 years. I put them in school 6 weeks before the
Oh
schools were.
my. And then so that ended real quick, huh?
Yeah. It's like, oh, this is so nice. I can go to yoga. I can schedule appointment. Like I can, I can actually get work done. Yeah, and that ended.
Yeah, again, that compassion for just how much everyone's, yeah, it's a full package.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, we were talking about different spiritual traditions.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's cool. So you've never felt like you wanted to join something.
Yeah, it's just never been in my makeup, so to speak. Like, I even had some one Vedic astrology reading that really stood out for me was, that he basically said, you may find a guru in this life, but it's also not looking super likely that it's not your nature.
Uh-huh.
And that resonates with me in the sense that, yeah, I just kind of feel like that kind of person that I love receiving, all of the wisdom teachings. And I've even had moments where I really want that experience of like, a guru or a teacher or the stability of one tradition, but it's just, I'm too, just in the flow of, where life guides me. And, I just believe it's all here for the great unfolding, and I receive what I feel like is good and beneficial for me to receive and use it to benefit my life and my path, and be the best human I can be. So
Amen.
mm,
Sounds good.
mm.
So, do you have? I know you mentioned you were going to be touring this year, and you had a change of plans, or the world had a change of plans.
Yeah, a little change of plans.
Do you have like other? Are you doing something else, or what? How have you kind of
What?
modulated your life around that?
Yeah. My big intention for 2020 was like to give 100% to my musical path,
Mm-hmm.
because I hadn't um, really done that yet. It's always been like a 50% kind of thing, and I've accomplished a lot with 50%. Um, but it was always just a matter of like really that 100%, to really create exposure. And I spent over the last 2 years, I released two really, in my opinion, wonderful albums, really high productions, worked with Ben Leinbach, and just, yeah, created some really, really beautiful work, and released those albums. And, I think as a musician, it's just always the journey of how do you get your music out there. And so yeah, when 2020 came, it was like, okay, this is the year to give 100% to my music. And and the way I saw doing that was like, okay, I want to tour more, and I just want to share more, and that's changed. And so now it's actually been a really interesting shift, in just feeling it. I feel for the last 15 years or so, I've held really strongly to a feeling of desire around music and my participation with my musical path in the world. And that hadn't really manifested. Like there was certain blocks, happening that felt like they were really preventing me from fully having it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I feel like even just over the last couple weeks, um, I've just kind of surrendered a little bit to like the expectations I have around myself with my music. And just in that feeling of like surrender, it's like, little opportunities have been popping up all over the place, invitations. I'm a very much a man of invitations. I love invitations. So it's like, oh yeah, do a podcast. Okay, great. That sounds wonderful. Hey, be a part of our song circle. All right, that sounds great. Um, so I'm just feeling like some movement around some of these heavy blockages that were very much around the experience of subconscious shame,
Mm.
and that feeling of, you know, am I good enough? Do people want to hear my music? All of these, kind of deeply rooted subconscious experiences that I think many of us go through on the artist path, of how do we give ourselves to the world and feel safe enough within that. And um, so yeah, it's been a really beautiful breakthrough, so to speak, and I'm excited to actually just kind of let everything that I've held on to in the past dissolve and just be like, I'm gonna show up with this newness, and I'm gonna give my all because it's what I love to do. I just love so much to play, this beautiful music for people and to create energy and experience around it that brings people together and, more importantly, serves as amazing medicine, to help people through the days that are challenging and are difficult,
Mhm.
you know. So that's really what I see as the potency of, um, musicians who are playing music that really have that frequency level that does become medicine for the people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I had this experience when I was a singer-songwriter of performing in coffee shops a lot.
Uh-huh.
And it would be for like just a few people at a time. Sometimes someone would actually listen. Other times it was just sort of like background noise for their conversation or whatever. But I did this like for months and months and months. I did it like 3 times a week or something.
Uh-huh.
And then I was invited to play at this festival where I played for like, I don't know, 1,000 people in some food court or whatever. And in that moment when I was sitting there, I was like, oh, that's why I had to play for all for like all those, because I needed the practice. It would have
Exactly.
been really overwhelming to be put in front of 1,000 people if I hadn't done that. So
It's so true.
yeah.
And I got to have a little taste of that remembrance. We just I was just a part of a singer-songwriter retreat called Awakening Earth, songwriting retreat, and had the joy to collaborate with Robin Leitman, who is Bloom, and Theo Grace of Entheogen, and Carmen Crow, Mama Crow, Destiny Love, Larry Devowski of NYU, and Eric James, known as Mowgli. And it was a really beautiful cast of wonderful
Cool.
facilitators. But within that, the container, we had about 30 participants, and the vulnerability of sharing, and the assignment was that everyone had to present a song that they wrote over the course of our time together. And at the on the final day, during that vulnerability of sharing was so deep, and even for the facilitators, like, we were feeling, the nervousness. And so, it just ties into what you said, is like, this practice of getting up in front of people and giving your heart of art is like, it's a big deal, and you need practice at doing that. And the path of the musician, it is, has a lot of initiations in it, and it's like, yeah, you start by playing for a room of no one sometimes, and then
Right.
maybe it's 5 people, and then it's 10 people, and then it's 100 people, and then it's 1,000 people, and it's all, yeah, it's just all part of the path. And
Yeah.
you know
And then it's 5 again.
and then it's 5 again, and you're like, all right. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So,
awesome.
yeah, so exposure's been big on my mind for 2020, is just how to get, the music that I have produced out into the world more,
Yeah.
and also just to, yeah, be more involved in my offerings and my collaborations and my connections, um, that keep it fun and exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and so many more people have so much more free time now. It's what a
Hmm.
great time to be sharing music. You know, there's people who really want to listen. There's people who,
Absolutely.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm also kind of a, like a homesteader, so to speak. So I spend a lot of time gardening, and I'm always in that push and pull, like, oh, I want to be outside because it's so beautiful.
Right.
But oh no, I got to be inside and I got to, I should be recording and I should be doing all this stuff. And I'm like, so, you know, I figure it all comes at perfect times.
Yeah, it's a balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was speaking with this woman who's she uses the agile model for her parenting. I don't
Uh-huh.
know if I wasn't familiar with it, maybe you are. It's like a corporate thing. It's this man who developed this model of um, it's a method of communication between people, but basically she has these like entire walls of a calendar with these post-it notes, and her
Wow.
family can add things to the calendar and whatever. But if she like wants to be outside, for example, she'll actually like put it up on the
Uh,
wall in her house so she sees it, and it's like, okay, I'm gardening right now. I'm,
exactly.
and now I will be on my computer. And I was
Interesting.
like, wow, that's really impressive, because I'll make notes for myself, but then I forget to look at them.
Exactly.
So that seemed like a
Yeah.
really great way to do it.
Most of the notes I take, I never look back.
Yeah.
But that's part of my learning process is by writing, I
Hmm.
actually take it all in. So I don't need to look back.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what was that thing?
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah.
I started this thing of like, I could close my eyes and kind of like write it on a mental list, and then I could retain it later. I haven't done that in a while, but that used to be a tactic of mine before. I mean, the phone's great because you have I have my notepad in my phone, so I
Uh-huh.
can, like, if I think of something, I'll write it in there.
Yeah. And
But yeah.
especially the voice memos,
Mm,
for song catching and
yeah.
learning new songs. I mean, I've managed to just gather so much material for songs and have written so many songs just off my voice memos and capturing those melodies when they come in.
Yeah, that's so key.
Yeah, it is.
Um, I I remember having to do that with like a karaoke machine back in the
Uh,
day.
I know, right?
But she actually made me realize that I probably have a lot of voice memos that I haven't listened to.
That's always the question of, do you want to go back into all those voice memos and try to write a song out of every one?
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, that's one thing I've been also realizing through this time is how so many of the songs that I've written are so relevant to
Mm,
to this moment.
hmm.
It's like, wow, these songs are just all so potent for what's happening right now. It's like, you know, I've been writing songs for this great turning, and I've always felt that my style was always very specific to, sentiments of hope and upliftment and, being connected and aligned to the path, that brings us joy and fulfillment and, depth.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, being able to maintain that amidst enormous change, which everybody's experiencing right now, is really hardcore practice. I mean,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
definitely has you utilize what you thought you had or what you have in a completely new way.
Totally.
And it's, yeah,
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
well, fun. Do you want to tell us about your upcoming projects or things we should look out for, ways to connect with you?
Yeah, let's see. What are my upcoming projects? Well, I'm really inspired to produce another album or two, that are kind of more of just a very simplified version of the music. I feel like the last two albums that I did, they're full on production, lots of instruments, lots of, vocal layerings, and very full. And I'm just having a craving for just really deep, simple, you know, um, instrumental components, but just really simple, stuff that you put on and it just really drops you into a very deep place. So I'm really excited for that, have that in the works. And yeah, I look forward to being out and touring when that is possible again. If that appears not to be possible, I'm also looking at the possibility of just doing some more Zoom offerings, such as daily chant practice, more online offerings. So just kind of tuning in with that. And yeah, other than that, yeah, I think mostly just recording and production feels like I'm really called to that right now.
Cool. When you said the simplified version, I heard like that bird track.
Right? Absolutely.
Would love that.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's something, so poignant about simplicity, and so yeah, I we'll see if that's in my capacity. Usually, once I get going, I'm like, oh, but I hear that and I hear that, but still, just I want to work with really high level production, but really just emphasizing more the roots
Mhm.
of the offering. Yeah.
Cool. And do you have a website?
hmm I do have a website. Yeah, you can go to jensjarvieandtheheartwideopen.com and sign up on my email list there. And also Spotify, Jens Jarvie and the Heart Wide Open. Instagram, same. And Facebook as well. Mostly
Cool.
post everything on Facebook and Instagram. So, and then also I have some, just before this started, I was moving in the direction of getting all the kirtans. I've been recording them live and getting them on a SoundCloud. So I do have 3 kirtans that happen over the course of Shivaratri. So there's 3 full-length kirtans on
Cool.
SoundCloud that are really fun and exciting as well.
Fun. So lots of ways to hear you and be part of your music.
Yep.
Love it.
Also have a YouTube channel. I'm not super active on it, but there's some stuff on there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being willing to do this and for waiting out the breaks
Absolutely.
due to my family situation right now.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me, and good to finally meet and connect.
Yeah, you too.
I look forward to more to come. Arizona was definitely on the stops.
Oh, I'm in Washington now, though.
Oh, you're in Washington.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Where are you at in Washington?
In Redmond,
Okay, Redmond, which is
near Seattle. It's like a suburb of Seattle.
okay. Are you friends with Rob and Melissa?
No.
No, Rob and Melissa are up there in Seattle, and they're wonderful.
Oh,
Kirtan
cool.
follows.
Oh, sweet. Okay, is that how they call themselves when they perform?
Rob and Melissa, yeah.
Rob and Melissa. Okay, well, I shall look them up.
They're a lovely couple. Actually, someone was just asking me about kirtan, I think in the exact place where you're at.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they said, do you know anyone in that area? What place is it?
Redmond.
Redmond.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, how cool. Well, I really look forward to meeting some other musicians here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So if you hear of anyone, send them my way.
And you're going by the name of Porter?
Porter now. Yeah, I've gone back to my birth
Okay.
original name.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Although,
Thank you so much, Porter.
yeah, thank you so much, Jens. Have a great day.
All right. Satnam.
Bye.